Hello everyone, this is Mr. Gerard, and this video is meant to help you better understand the overview page for week 2 and the assignments that you will be working on this week. So if we take a look at this overview page, it's very similar to our overview page for week 1, and this is very purposeful. All of our overview pages will look very similar to this one. And the idea here is that way when you click onto the overview page, as you are getting a sense of the week's assignments, you don't have to battle the structure of the page. Everything is very familiar, and you can focus in on the actual assignments themselves. So if we take a look at the very top of the overview page, it gives a quick summary of what we'll be up to this week. It then gives us the deadline for this week's assignments, which will be Sunday, August 29th, and that will be the day that your discussion assignment for the week will be due. The next section just gives you some information about how to get some further support from me, either through email or through office hours. Just remember that we do have an opportunity to use office hours to meet through Zoom if you have a question or concern that needs more than just a quick answer that you could get through email. Or perhaps you'd like to have some further assistance on a particular assignment. We can definitely set up an appointment through Zoom during our office hours, Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 to 11:30. So if you ever feel like you need some further assistance from me, by all means, reach out to me through email and we will set up an appointment to meet through Zoom. So if we take a look at our assignments for this week, we have 3 assignments. The first assignment looks fairly similar to what we did last week. I'm asking you to do some reading out of our textbook, Signs of Life. So last week we took a look at the introduction to Signs of Life as a textbook, and it also gave us an introduction to the content we'll be reading, writing, and thinking about this semester, popular culture. So for this week, we are going to be jumping around a little bit. We are going to be pulling from the beginning of the book, much like last week. If we take a look at the first reading for this week, I'm asking you to take a look at pages 19 to 28, writing about popular culture. And this section just will help us to begin our conversation about the kinds of processes we'll be using to develop our reading, writing, and critical thinking skills. So it's an informative piece of writing about these skills and about the processes we'll be using. So really important for us, not only for this week, but just going forward for the rest of the semester. So take a look at those pages. Then once you're done with that, flip over to page 185. So we are diving fairly deep into the textbook. We're not starting with chapter 1. We're actually starting with chapter 3. Take a look at the introduction to this chapter called Consuming Passions, the Culture of American Consumption. So very much like the introduction essay that we read last week, this essay is written by our textbook editors, and it's meant to be yet another introduction, but in this case it's meant to be an introduction to this chapter on consumption and its ties to popular culture. So take a look at pages 185 to 192 and for this introduction to our this particular section of the textbook, but also our first unit of the class, which is going to be focused on consumption. So then once you're done with that, a little further into the chapter, take a look at an essay that was written by Jordan Holman. So every chapter has a series of essays that are written by different people that our editors have collected. And so this week we will be reading the first essay by someone other than our editors, an essay entitled Millennials Tried to Kill the American Mall, but Gen Z Might Save It. So take a look at this very short essay. I think you'll find it interesting. Much like last week, I do have PDF files for all of these reading selections on the reading page of this module. So remember that once you're done with the overview page, if you click onto the next button, it'll start moving you through the module for this week. So one of the pages in our module is the readings page, and it will have PDF files for our 3 readings for this week. Like I say here, that I am able to do this, this kind of supplying PDF files for you for the first 2 weeks as you secure your textbook. I do realize that sometimes it's difficult to secure that textbook right at the beginning of the semester, but I am not able to provide PDF files after week 2. Unless in a very extreme situation due to copyright. So if you have not already secured your textbook, look to do so this week because the PDF files will end this week. But again, they're there for you this week, so take advantage if you don't have your book already. All right, so assignment 2. Assignment 2 moves us away from reading and into some formal writing for the class. So we have been doing some informal writing through our discussion assignment, and we'll continue to do that this week and every week going forward. But another part of the class is formal writing, and that is in the form of the essays for the class. And so for this first unit on consumption, we will be writing a formal essay entitled the Consumer Artifact Analysis Essay. So take a look this week at the assignment sheet for this formal writing assignment. And then also, as you read in the section writing about popular culture, we will be putting this formal essay through what's called the writing process, a series of steps to come to the most effective final product. And I'll be talking more about that on those pages of our module. But for this week, your responsibility for the formal essay will be to read the assignment sheet and then to take that first step of the writing process, and that is to consider options for the topic of your essay. So just thinking about the topic options for this week, and that's all. In assignment 3, as we head towards the end of the week, assignment 3 is our discussion assignment for the week, where you will, based on your readings out of our textbook and of the assignment sheet, as well as your work constructing a topic list as you consider topics, you'll be answering a series of directed questions to capture your thinking about the reading and, of course, the work that you did on this first step of the writing process for our formal essay. So I have here the process you should be using when you do work on the discussion assignment, which also brings in the reading process we'll be using for this semester. Things like committing to a piece of reading twice, taking notes, annotating that second time through, and then writing, taking a look at the prompts that you will be addressing, responding to those prompts in some kind of word processing program. Once you're done with those responses, and then copy and pasting those responses into the discussion forum, which is the last page of our module. So down here I have the list of prompts for the discussion assignment as a way to just familiarize yourself with those questions as you're doing your reading. And that brings us to the end of the overview page. Again, if you have any questions or concerns about any of the assignments this week, just feel free to email me and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And when you are ready to jump into the first assignment, you click on to that next button. All right, everyone, I'll see you next week.